Hi, my name is Victor Jegede, and I want to welcome you to this special presentation, which is titled, How to Successfully Relocate to Canada as a Permanent Resident Without Wasting a Kobo on Agents. My goal for this presentation is to share my unique process for relocating successfully to Canada as a permanent resident with you. And I am going to be doing that by sharing the story of how I was able to use this same process to relocate my entire family to Canada after several years of wasted time, wasted money, and wasted efforts. I'm going to advise you to pay special attention to everything I will be saying in this presentation and stay with me till the end. That is because I have reasons to believe that many big-time agents and immigration consultants who exploit unsuspecting people are finding a way to pull down this video. Maybe you have even tried some of these agents and lost some money in the process. By the time you watch this presentation to the end, you will have a comprehensive idea of what to do to relocate to Canada successfully without wasting money unnecessarily. Let me share my story with you. I actually started trying to move to Canada since 2010. In the process, I lost over 5 million naira with different agents and several companies that never yielded any results until 2016, when I decided to take the balls into my own hands. To the glory of God, I was issued an immigrant visa to Canada on the 27th of March 2017, and I am now a permanent resident in Canada. Because the process I used worked, I now enjoy an awesome life in Canada with my family. That is our picture. That is me, my wife, and our 2 kids. Since I proved my system of moving to Canada by using it myself, I have also been able to help several Nigerians move to Canada as well. One of them is a couple from Lagos who have been trying to move since 2015. Like many people, they paid one so-called Canadian agent the sum of $2,500, but nothing happened, and they can't even ask for a refund. Then I walked them through my unique process of becoming a permanent resident in Canada, and today they are now based in Toronto. I created this presentation because many Nigerians like you and I are looking for a better life for our families, and the truth is Nigeria can't provide such. But thanks be to God for a well-developed and lovely country like Canada. I won't lie to you. One of the best decisions I ever made in my life is to relocate my family to Canada. Until I started living here, I didn't know what I have been missing all this while. I didn't know this is how life is supposed to be enjoyed. When some of my colleagues back in Nigeria heard that I was moving to Canada, most of them thought it was because of the money. Of course, if you move to Canada, your finances will surely improve if you are not dumb. You will know why I said so in a minute. But I actually didn't move to Canada for financial reasons. I moved to Canada for 2 major reasons. Number 1, I moved to Canada for my family. I want my children to grow up in an environment where things work. In Nigeria, when a father dies, in most cases that may be the beginning of doom for the family, especially the kids financially. Here, it makes no difference. With or without their father or mother, the system is so designed to get them to any level they want to get to in life, except if they personally decide against it. The second major reason why I moved to Canada is because I got tired of several things in Nigeria. At a point in my life, I concluded that I have lived almost 4 decades of my life in a society where things don't really work, and then decided that I need to experience another country where things work so that I can have a strong basis for comparison and possibly learn how to make things work. As you know, things like power, food, good roads, good health care, security is becoming impossible at a steady rate. As a matter of fact, I lost 2 close family members of mine to poor healthcare delivery system in Nigeria. I came to Canada and I can tell you that my decision was not in error. Things like constant electricity, clean and available water, good roads, good healthcare, security are part of the benefits available to everyone who lives in Canada. But then there are more benefits available to you as a Canadian permanent resident. Let me list 6 of these benefits. 1. Free and high-quality public schools for kids. Here in Canada, your children can enroll in schools within few days of arrival because you do not need to have money to put them in very good public schools. And when I say public schools, I'm not talking about the type of low-quality public schools we have in Nigeria. The public schools in Canada are heavily funded by the government, and they are very high quality. Premium quality school education up to grade 12 is free in Canada. Imagine how much money you will save with this alone if you have kids. But there is more. 2. Monthly childcare benefit. If you have children, this is good news for you. Every month, the government pays you extra money to take care of your children if you have kids. This is how it works. If you have kids below 6 years old, you can get up to 533 Canadian dollars per month for each child. And for kids that are over 6 years old, you can get up to $450 per month. I am not joking. Here is the form we got from the government for childcare benefit for the month of June 2017 to June 2018 period for our 2 kids. As you can see, that is $11,800 for a year. In Naira, that is 3,280,400 Naira for 1 year, or 273,300 Naira per month, just to take care of our 2 kids. If your children get quality education for free, and you get $273,300 per month from the government just to take care of your kids, why won't you be able to enjoy your life and save money for more important things? Can you now see why I said your finances will surely improve in Canada if you apply common sense? But that is not all. 3. Free and high quality healthcare. This is a big one because we all know how important health is. In Nigeria, the healthcare system is so bad that many times health workers, including doctors, go on strike. First, you have to know that in Canada, the healthcare system is up to date and top-notch. Healthcare workers here handle their patients with respect and practice with a high level of professionalism. As a permanent resident here in Canada, you have access to almost free and high-quality healthcare. I use the word almost because you might still have to pay for some medication bought outside the hospital, except if you have insurance to cover such. But if you are admitted in the hospital, or you find yourself at the ER, that is emergency, you pay nothing. I have seen someone admitted for 4 months here due to some complications from childbirth, and she walked out without paying a dime. 4. Rent assist. The Canadian system is designed to assist new immigrants settle in fast. One of these programs is the Rent Assist program, designed to help new immigrants pay part of their house rent for a year, or till your circumstances change. For instance, the document you are looking at right now is the Rent Assist approval letter for an extra $486.93 that was given to me when I initially got to Canada. 5. Low fees for tertiary education. If you want to further your studies, or if you have children that are about to get into the tertiary institution, tuition fee is lower compared to what international students pay. As a permanent resident, you are not considered an international student. 6. Opportunity to become a Canadian citizen. As a permanent resident, you also have the great advantage of becoming a 100% Canadian citizen with a Canadian passport. I don't have to start telling you what sort of advantages you are going to get when you become a Canadian citizen, and this can happen after you have spent a minimum of 3 years cumulatively in Canada. Since I got here, I have met several Nigerians who came here as permanent residents but are now full Canadian citizens. The 6 benefits I listed are just the most basic ones. There are more benefits that you're going to get when you eventually become a permanent resident of Canada and invariably become a Canadian citizen. Right now, the chances for you to become a permanent resident in Canada is huge. That is because the Canadian government plans to issue 1 million permanent resident status to new immigrants between 2018 to 2020. And that is why I created this presentation. I created this presentation so that you and your family can be a part of the people who will enjoy this privilege. So, how exactly do you become a permanent resident in Canada like I did? It is by applying the same process I used to successfully relocate to Canada as a permanent resident, and that is what this presentation is all about. My unique process of relocating successfully to Canada is made up of 3 secrets. These are the 3 secrets I am going to be talking about in the rest of this presentation. These 3 secrets are: Secret 1. How to use the 2 most reliable programs to successfully relocate to Canada as a permanent resident. Secret 2. How to quickly get your first job as an immigrant in Canada. Secret 3. Choosing where to settle in Canada as a new immigrant. Before I move on, it is important that I quickly tell you a little bit more about myself. This is because anyone can put up a video online on how to relocate to Canada as a permanent resident. But the question is, have they done it? Most of the agents people pay and lose their hard-earned money to are people who have never lived anywhere outside Nigeria before, not even Canada. But I am different because not only have I done what I am trying to help you with, I have also successfully helped others. As you probably know by now, my name is Victor Jegede, and I used to be a civil servant in Nigeria until I got really tired of the country. I started looking around and I found out that one of the best countries on earth is Canada. So I did what most people usually do when they want to travel or relocate to another country. First, I searched Google for more information, and that led me to some agents and a lot of wasted money. Like many people, I wasted money on agents who mostly do not even have a total clue of how the programs work, but are just interested in the money. At a point, I even began to think I was pursuing something that isn't real because I wasn't getting any results. But thank God, I didn't give up because later on in 2014, I got fed up of paying all the so-called agents and I decided to take matters into my own hands. I started spending long hours online reading everything I could find from the Canadian immigration portal about relocating to Canada. The truth is, everything about relocating to Canada is online, but it's always not very easy to comprehend. It took me more than 2 years of trial and error before I could understand it. Eventually, I started applying what I found out, and some months later, I finally got the good news of getting my permanent resident application approved by the Canadian authority, as you can see here. And this is my Canadian permanent resident identity card that was issued to me when I got to Canada. With this permanent resident card, I am able to get all the benefits of a permanent resident anywhere in Canada. You will also get one when you get to Canada as well. With that said, here are the 3 secrets for relocating to Canada as a permanent resident. Secret number 1. How to use the 2 most reliable programs for successfully relocating to Canada as a permanent resident. Don't let anyone deceive you and waste your money and time. If you go online right now and search for information on how to relocate to Canada, you will likely come across various websites showing you different methods and programs for relocating to Canada. Don't waste your time on them. I actually tried most of them myself until I finally narrowed them down to just 2 via which you can get your permanent resident visa right from your home country. Some people choose to come here first as a student before eventually filing for permanent residency. However, I can tell you with all sense of honesty that it is far better to come here directly as a permanent resident, as you will soon discover. Realistically, there are 2 programs that can actually make it possible for you to successfully relocate to Canada as a permanent resident from a country like Nigeria if you do the right things. These 2 programs are: 1. The Federal Express Entry Program. 2. The Provincial Nominee Program. Both programs select applicants using a point-based system where an applicant is assessed based on certain factors. The main factors they look into are things like age, education. This is assessed with a credential evaluation report that is compulsory. Work experience, compulsory. Canadian experience, either as a temporary worker or previous Canadian education, is optional. Relationship to a Canadian permanent resident or citizen, optional. English language proficiency. This is assessed with a valid IELTS test of English result. You have to write this test with your spouse if married, and it is compulsory. Financial status, essential. Spouse education if married, which is also assessed with a credential evaluation report, compulsory. A valid job offer from a Canadian employer. A valid job offer from a Canadian employer. This is not compulsory, but if you are able to get a job offer from a Canadian employer before applying, this increases your chances. Spouse English language proficiency if married, as assessed with a valid test of English result, compulsory. They analyze each of these factors and give you something called a CRS point. This CRS point is what determines if they will select you or not. Consider the CRS point as something like the JAM cutoff mark. If your overall CRS point falls within the CRS cutoff for any selection period, you will get a letter of invitation from the Canadian Immigration Authority telling you what next to do. With that settled, let me start by talking about the Federal Express Entry Program. The Federal Express Entry Program was launched in January 2015, and it is the most popular Canadian immigration program. With this program, draws are done on a monthly basis using a CRS cutoff system, and if your CRS point falls within the cutoff point, you will be considered. From what I now understand, the Express Entry Program now favors people who are under 35 years of age. Most of the agents who collect money from people know this, but then they never tell people what is needed to qualify for the Express Entry Program. They will assess you without seeing your documents and give you false hope. To submit your application for this Express Entry Program, it is important for you to have the following. 1. A minimum of 1 year work experience. 2. You must have written the IELTS test of English examination with a minimum band score of 6.5, but I usually advise people to work towards a minimum of 7.5 in each subject area, as you will soon discover. 3. You must have a credential evaluation report from an accredited agency in Canada. You can get started with this Express Entry Program by going to the IRCC website, which is www.cic.gc.ca, to create a profile online and then enter what is known as the pool with your application. After submitting your application, your CRS point will be sent to you via email. Here is the email response I got after applying for the Express Entry Program back in 2015. If your CRS point is high enough, they will approve you for the Express Entry Program and you can move on with the other requirements. This whole process can be concluded within 6 to 9 months after you are nominated. Program 2. Provincial Nominee Program. The second program is known as the Provincial Nominee Program, and this is not so popular, but it has its own merit and demerit too. The conditions and points required to get in isn't as high as the ones required by the Express Entry Program for most provinces. So, if you are unable to meet up with the conditions of the Express Entry Program, there is no need to go for a 7 days fasting. Simply enroll using the Provincial Nominee Program as long as you are able to meet up with their criteria too. Personally, I didn't meet up with the conditions for the Express Entry Program, so I simply tried the Provincial Nominee Program and I got in immediately. For many people who could not meet up with the conditions of the Express Entry Program, probably due to their age or a low IELTS score, I simply advised them to try the Provincial Nominee Program once all other requirements have been met. Let me explain how the Provincial Nominee Programs work. In Canada, there are 13 unique and independent provinces. Each of these 13 provinces are as large as Nigeria alone, and each of them has its own law. Each of these provinces also have their own immigration programs through which people can come into Canada as a permanent resident. Like I said before, the provincial nominee program is also based on the point system, but the age and IELTS requirements are usually not as high as that of the Federal Express Entry program. While the Federal Express Entry program is designed for younger professionals with age less than 35, the provincial program mostly accommodates older age brackets. For instance, in the Manitoba province where I stay, the age range accommodated for good points is up to 45 years, which is good. Another difference between these two immigration programs has to do with the need for a Canadian connection for some of the provinces. In the Manitoba provincial program, there is a need for an applicant to have a Manitoba connection, that is, a family or friend who must be a permanent resident or citizen, and who must have been living in Manitoba province consistently for a minimum of 1 year. Many people think they don't have family connections in these provinces, but have forgotten they could have friends who know someone somewhere, even in some of these provinces, if they spend more time to find out. Thanks to the social media and other platforms that has connected and keep connecting us all together. Another difference between the Federal Express Entry program and the Provincial Nominee program is that someone who came in through the Federal Express Entry program can choose to stay in any part of Canada at any point in time. But if you came in through a Provincial Nominee program, you are expected to stay in the province that nominated you for permanent residency for a period of time. The two Provincial Nominee programs that I recommend are the Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program and the Saskatchewan Provincial Program. In order to apply for the nominee program of a particular province, you will have to go to their website and apply. To apply through the Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program, simply go to their website and apply. Their website is www.immigratemanitoba.com. For the Saskatchewan Provincial Nominee Program, simply go to their website too and apply. www.saskatchewan.ca. Once you have been nominated, you will have 60 days to upload all documents in order to substantiate every information submitted in your EOI, which is expression of interest. Here is the email I got when I was nominated. At this point, you will have to upload all required documents within 60 days. Once your application is approved by the province, you will be sent a nomination certificate, which will then be used to apply for permanent resident visa alongside other vital documents. You will also be requested to proceed with medicals at a point. After your medical examination, the next stage is to await a mail from Ghana if you are applying from Nigeria for passport request. Here is the passport request mail I got from the Commission in Ghana. After about 2 to 3 weeks from the time you sent your passport, you should get it back with your immigrant visas on it from the embassy. At this point, you are set. Once your immigrant visa is issued, you must enter Canada within the next 12 months. At this stage, you might be thinking, so which of the programs should I apply for? And my answer is, start with personal assessment of your profile. You need to ask yourself the following questions. How old are you? What level of education and qualification do you have? How many years of work experience do you have? What is your IELTS score? If you have not written the test, then you should go and write it. Do you have any connection in Canada? Your answer to these questions will determine which program is suitable for you. With that said, let's move on to a very important issue. Many people want to come to Canada, but very few people talk about surviving and succeeding after landing in Canada. This is why you need to pay very close attention to this part of the presentation as I present to you secret number 2. How to get your first job as an immigrant in Canada. One of the top reasons why many people struggle when they relocate to Canada is because they have no information or plans on what jobs are like in Canada or how to secure one. That is because most agents don't help with these things. Unless you have a huge amount of cash stashed away somewhere, it is a good thing to get a job as soon as possible once you land in Canada. This is because getting a job gives you access to income, which is very vital in meeting your financial obligations. Nobody picks money on the street of Canada. People work for it. Also, getting a job quickly allows you to start building your Canadian experience. Many employers always want to know if you have Canadian experience, and once you start working, irrespective of the kind of job you are doing, you will begin to build your experience profile here, which will definitely position you for other better offers. Canada is a society that runs a credit system, just like most developed nations. This is why building your credit history is very vital for your success here in Canada. Once you land as a permanent resident and open a bank account, you will be offered a credit card worth $2,000. The idea is for you to spend money and replenish the spent money. This way, you will be building your credit history. Apart from the banks, some other companies will start dangling their credit cards at you. Be careful. A lot of Nigerians come here and start collecting all these credit cards and spend money anyhow, forgetting it is credit. Eventually, they are left with a huge debt profile and bad credit history. I personally know of a guy who came here and collected different credit cards and used all the money on these cards without reasonable payment. At the end of the day, he was left with a huge debt to pay and eventually had to file for bankruptcy, which is bad for his record. In Canada, there are 3 different types of employment you can get. A. There is the casual employment, where you work anytime you want and you are only paid based on the hours you work for. B. There is the part-time employment, where you only work based on a fixed calendar but not a full-time offer. For instance, you can work only on weekends. C. And there is the full-time employment, which is like the normal 9 to 5 that most people are used to in Nigeria. Regardless of the type of job you get in Canada, all employers pay every 2 weeks as early as 7 a.m. on Friday. Also, all Canadian employers, either public or private, are required by law to pay employees based on the minimum wage rate. Nobody will employ you without giving you access to all the benefit packages that a job comes with. I'm talking about things like health and insurance. When it comes to getting a job, the most important thing is for you to have the following documents. 1. Criminal record. 2. Child and adult abuse. 3. Driver's license if your job requires driving. 4. Permanent resident card. 5. Your CV/resume. Once you have these documents, getting a job in Canada within a few weeks of your arrival is very possible. So let's move to secret number 3, which is choosing where to settle in Canada as a new immigrant. Another important thing that many people do not think about is where they are going to stay when they arrive in Canada. Most people just assume that they will stay in a city like Toronto. That is, if you came in through the Federal Express program. If you came in through a provincial nominee program, you're required to spend some time in the province that nominated you. In your first 1 year of getting to Canada, it is good to be very strategic about where to stay. Personally, I chose the town where I now stay due to certain factors like 1. Job opportunities. Many people love to stay in the big cities where there is a lot of opportunities and also job competition. I decided to stay outside the city where there are also opportunities but few competitions. This is one of the reasons why I was able to get my job within 2 weeks of getting to Canada and without any stress. 2. Education plans. If you plan to upgrade your education, it is good to live close to a place where you can get such education without the need to travel far, because Canada is a very big country. Second largest nation on earth in terms of land mass. 3. Cost of accommodation. The rent I pay in the town I live is like 1/5 of what many people pay in the cities. As a result, I am able to cut down on my living expenses and save money for other things. You should also think about things like the weather, because some people come here during the summer and ignorantly go and live in a very cold area. Eventually, when summer is over, they find out they have made a big mistake. As you can see, once you are able to apply these 3 secrets, you can be in Canada as soon as you want. It all depends on how eager you want to move here. Like I said before, Canada is one of the safest places to live in the world. The people are very nice and friendly. All the houses have heating system and power is 100% constant. You don't have to believe me until you experience it yourself. At this point, I want you to imagine that in 10 or 12 months from now, you are in a country where things really work. A country where your children have access to quality education and you don't have to pay for it. Imagine living in a country where there is clean water supply to your house without you having to think about it. Imagine living in a country where there is maximum security. You don't have to walk around with the fear of someone kidnapping you or Boko Haram throwing another bomb. Imagine living in a country where people's lives are valued. You need to see how people value human lives over here for you to understand. Imagine living in a country where you don't have to think about buying fuel for your generator because there is power 24/7. Imagine living in a country where food is plenty and cheap because of the importance attached to food by the government. A country where the government is highly interested in the welfare of your kids via the Canadian Child Care Benefit Program, which puts some extra money in your account to take care of your children. Meanwhile, I forgot to tell you this. Apart from the equivalent of 273,000 naira a month from the Canadian government for my kids, the government of Manitoba, which is the province where I stay, also pay me an additional token every month to take care of them. I could go on and on to let you see reasons why moving to Canada could be one of the best decisions you will ever make in your life. Even if you decide not to stay here for a long time, staying here for 3 years only will change your orientation and improve your life, especially if you have been able to use your permanent resident advantage to learn how things are done in saner climates. Like I said before, when you immigrate to Canada as a permanent resident, you can apply for citizenship after living continually in Canada for a minimum of 3 years. If you are law-abiding during that time, then you should get it. But all these won't happen if you are unable to apply for your permanent residency the right way. All these won't happen if you keep depending on agents who claim they can help you, but they themselves have never lived here before. I have explained quite a few things in this video that is good enough for you to get started yourself. But if you want a complete breakdown step by step of how you can become a permanent resident in Canada, I have created a detailed step-by-step guide that walks you through how to apply via the Federal Express Entry Program or the Provincial Nominee Program. This guide is titled The Permanent Residency in Canada Blueprint. This blueprint is made up of 65 pages that takes you through the A to Z of how you can become a permanent resident in Canada like myself and some other people I have shown this process to. In this Permanent Residency in Canada blueprint, I took time to show you everything you need to do from A to Z to relocate to Canada as a permanent resident. With this blueprint, you will learn what to do step by step for becoming a permanent resident in Canada, either through express entry or through the provincial nominee programs. You will learn about all the forms to fill online and how to fill each of them with the correct information. You will learn how to respond to each question you are asked. You will learn how to prepare and pass the IELTS exam with high scores so that your permanent residency process can be fast and guaranteed. If you follow what I explained in this permanent residency in Canada blueprint, you could be in Canada within the space of 10 to 12 months. Ever since I got to Canada, I have guided quite a number of people to relocate to Canada from Nigeria, leveraging on this step-by-step approach. Some came in through the Federal Express Entry Program. Others came in through the Manitoba Provincial Program. Here is a message I got recently from one Mr. Tosin Adelakun, who is one of the people who purchased the first edition of this blueprint and is now in Canada. My name is Tosin Adelakun, and I came across the author of the Permanent Residency in Canada Blueprint online. His article regarding the IELTS requirements and how to pass with good grades towards migrating to Canada was very pivotal to my success story today. Mr. Victor Jegede motivated me in the journey, the immigration path, and our relationship became stronger after linking up again in the same city in Canada. His advice, moral support, and encouragement stirred me up in actualizing my long-term goal of migration. I have no iota of doubt that the contents of this book is sufficient and contains the updated information required to become a permanent resident of Canada. I have no iota of doubt that the content of this book is sufficient and contains the updated information required to become a permanent resident of Canada. Indeed, he is a bundle of talent and joy to our generation, and I will encourage all prospective immigrants to take time in going through this masterpiece of hard work put together by the author. Here is another feedback from Olayinka Afolabi, who is one of a few people I shared this information with. When it comes to getting great insight and guidance on Canadian immigration process, the first person that readily comes to mind is Mr. Jegede. The first extensive knowledge I got was when he conducted a seminar back then before moving his family to Canada. I had been privileged to know about it and was eager to understanding the process. I was blown away with the vast exposure and insight I got. He spoke about virtually everything I could ever think of, and even went further in explaining what to expect when one gets newly into the system. Trust me, this guy is one of the very few who knows his onion, has first-hand experience, and is ready to share. His knowledge and expertise has really been useful to a number of people I have personally referred to him, most of who are currently living and enjoying their Canadian dream. I could have given you much more testimonials than these ones, but many people just want to keep their privacy, and I respect them for that. Apart from this permanent residency in Canada blueprint, I also took my time to create 2 helpful reports that you will get as bonuses. I had to add these reports after the first edition. When you get the permanent residency report, I am also going to give you these 2 extra reports. The first report is a very valuable one. That is because this report shows you how to land your first job in Canada as a new immigrant. I wrote this report because since I landed in this wonderful country, I have noticed that a lot of people who come here know nothing about how they can get their first job. As a result, they always end up struggling for several months. That is why I created a 10-page report that explains what you need and what to do in order to get your first paying job in Canada fast. Like I said before, once you have a paying job in Canada, many things become easy. This job report will show you where and how to search for available jobs in Canada, especially in places where many people are not looking. While many people spend up to 3 months in Canada without a job, I got the job I now do within 2 weeks in Canada by using this same information. You will also learn how to quickly acquire what is called Canadian experience that makes you suitable for high-value jobs. I could easily sell this report alone for 10,000 naira, but you're going to be getting it as a free bonus. The second bonus report you are getting is also very important. It is titled Destination Options in Canada for New Immigrants, and in this report, I explain what you need to consider before settling down in any place in Canada. Many Nigerians who come to Canada usually don't consider several things like the weather and job opportunities where they have chosen to stay, as it usually takes many about 12 months before they realize their mistakes and begin to correct them. This should not be the case for you. That is why I wrote these extra 11-page reports for you. And like I said, it will be a bonus for you. Here is a summary of what you are going to get. 1. The Permanent Residency in Canada Blueprint. The value, 50,000 naira. 2. How to land your first job in Canada as a new immigrant. Value, 10,000 naira. 3. Destination options in Canada for the new immigrant. Value, 7,500 naira. The total value of these reports is 67,500 naira. But that is not all. I have another priceless bonus you're going to get. In fact, this bonus will still be useful for you when you arrive in Canada. This extra bonus are the updates I am going to be giving you about living and prospering in Canada as a permanent resident based on the new things I am learning every day. These updates will help you understand the Canadian system and environment, which will help you enjoy Canada the best way I am enjoying it now. Many Nigerians who come here do so ignorantly. My constant updates about living and prospering in Canada as a permanent resident will ensure you do not make the mistake that many of them are making. These updates will be sent to you as a newsletter on a monthly basis for 12 months. By that time, you should have a good understanding of Canada yourself. Many of the immigrants here in Canada will gladly pay $35 or 10,000 naira per month due to the amount of mistakes they have made as a result of ignorance. So, if I had to put a price on the 12 months axis, you will be getting to these monthly updates. That will be 120,000 naira. Again, here is a summary of what you are going to get. 1. The Permanent Residency in Canada Blueprint. Value, 50,000 naira. 2. How to land your first job in Canada as a new immigrant. Value, 10,000 naira. 3. Destination options in Canada for new immigrant. Value, 7,500 naira. 4. 12 months newsletter updates about living and prospering in Canada as a permanent resident. Value, 120,000 naira. That brings the total value of what you are getting to 187,500 naira. Now think about this. Let's say you are lucky to get an agent who knows what they are doing. You will probably pay him about 1.5 million naira, and all he will help you do is to arrange the permanent residency. He won't help you with the jobs. He won't be able to advise you about where to stay and how to make the best of the Canadian system. He won't be able to advise you on how to enjoy and prosper in Canada. But then, we both know that the chances of getting an agent who really knows what they are doing is 1 in 100. So, I want to ask you a question. If you had to pay 127,500 naira to get the permanent residency in Canada Blueprint and all the accompanying bonuses, won't it be worth it? Of course, the answer is yes. But you know what? You won't be paying 127,500 naira for this blueprint. You won't even be paying 100,000 naira, or 75,000 naira, or even 50,000 naira. If you are serious about relocating to Canada as a permanent resident, I am giving you the opportunity to get the permanent residency in Canada blueprint and all the accompanying bonuses for just 17,000 naira if you get it right now. I said right now because you might come back to this page tomorrow and the price could have changed to 35,000 naira and it will still be a bargain. I am not saying all this to rush you into buying. Far from it. I spent a lot of time to put together this information, and you will agree with me that what I am giving you here is worth far more than 35,000 naira. So, if you come back to this website tomorrow and meet the price at 35,000 naira, it will still be worth it. But I want you to save that extra 18,000 naira for something else. All you have to do is get the permanent resident in Canada blueprint today for a discounted price of 17,000 naira only. Think about it. How much is 17,000 naira compared to how much this blueprint will help you save? Even if you decide to still use an agent or a consultant, you won't be doing so as a novice who doesn't know what they are doing. You'll be able to guide the agent to ensure that your application is successful, and since you will also have access to the bonus reports, you'll be able to get a job faster, and you won't also make the silly mistakes that most immigrants make when they get to Canada. As you can see, I really understand this process because it took me over 2 years to study it. But if you are still having some doubt about if this is a wise investment or not, I am giving you a 90-day money-back guarantee. This is what I mean. I want you to try out the information in the Permanent Residency in Canada Blueprint for 90 days. If this guide and the information inside does not in any way help you, simply get in touch with me to ask for a full refund of your money over the next 90 days after purchase. We both know that agents who charge people over 500,000 naira don't give people back their money. But I am going to refund your money and you can keep the materials and the bonuses. That is how confident I am about this information. One more thing. The Permanent Residency in Canada Blueprint and the attached bonuses are only available in form of digital downloads. Once you make payment, you can download them on your phone, tablet, or computer within the next 5 minutes and begin to go through it. I decided to make them digital so that regardless of where you are in Nigeria or Africa, you can get access to them instantly. All you have to do is place your order now. Let me tell you how you can order for the Permanent Residency in Canada Blueprint. Step 1. Click on the Order button below this video. When you click on the button below this video, you will be taken to the order page that looks like this. Step 2. Fill the order form with your name, email address, phone number. As you can see, there are 2 payment options on the order page. The first option, Paystack, is recommended because it gives you instant access to the Permanent Residence in Canada Blueprint and the bonuses. The second payment option is via bank deposit, which will take some time because your payment has to be confirmed before the blueprint and bonuses are sent to you. Select one of the 2 payment options and click on the checkout button to continue. Step 3. If you selected the Paystack option, the Paystack payment box will come up so you can make payment for the guide. It looks like this. By the way, Paystack is a 100% secure CBN approved company that allows you to make payment online via your ATM card or bank account from anywhere in Nigeria. Once you see the payment box come up, simply select the card or bank option. If you select the card option, all you have to do is to enter your ATM card details and pay. And if you don't want to use your ATM card, you can use the bank option if your bank is among the banks listed on Paystack. You can see the banks listed when you select the bank option and click on the drop-down. Then select your bank on the list and follow the instructions. Once your payment is successful, you will see a page that looks like this one. In case you don't want to use Paystack, you can use the direct bank deposit option on the order page. Then click Checkout and you will get access to the bank details and other instructions needed for payment. One more thing. The company handling the marketing and delivery of this guide for me is known as Expertnaire. So if you need help with ordering, please call the Expertnaire support on 081 180 36573 Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and I'm sure they will be of assistance to you. If you need my personal help and support, my contact details will be available inside the Permanent Residence in Canada Blueprint so that you can get in touch with me. Again, none of these materials are printed. The Permanent Residence in Canada Blueprint and bonuses are digital materials that can be accessed via your phone, tablet, or computer. Nothing whatsoever will be shipped to you. All you have to do right now is click the button below this video to place your order, and within the next 5 minutes, you will have access to the Permanent Residence in Canada Blueprint and bonuses. At this point, you now have 3 choices to make. 1. You can try to figure out the entire no-fail process of becoming a permanent resident in Canada all by yourself. From my experience, this will cost you more than 17,000 naira and at least 15 months before you figure it out. The second option is you can pay a lot of money to agents and consultants and put your fate in their hands. You may be lucky though and land in the hands of the right agent. The third option, and the one I consider to be the wise decision, is to invest a small amount of 17,000 naira to get access to the permanent residency in Canada blueprint today. This will save you a lot of time and money and also save you from the hands of fraudsters posing as immigration agents. One of the questions people ask me is, how about if I need your direct help with the application? I can help with your application, but the very first step is get the permanent residency in Canada blueprint. Right now, the process of getting into Canada as a permanent resident isn't so difficult. But as more people hear about this all over the world, the process is going to become more difficult and more expensive. This is why another reason why you shouldn't waste any time to get started. All you need right now to start relocating to Canada is the step-by-step
detailed information that were not even part of the old version of the blueprint. Let me just quickly share a few things with you that you need to know about this new Canadian relocation walkthrough report and training. It's not just a blueprint this time around, it's a training with a lot of walkthrough trainings, videos, resources that you need, everything you need, as a matter of fact, including how to raise money for your journey to Canada. Just like I've pointed out, that financial challenge is a major reason why very many people have not been able to achieve their dream of moving to Canada. I have addressed most of these challenges in this updated version. I've added a lot of things, how you can position yourself in front of Canadian employers and so many other things that you will get to know. Detailed information about how you can move to Canada either as a student or as a temporary foreign worker or as a permanent resident. Let me quickly share with you other things that you will learn in this Blueprint 3.0. Okay, walkthrough process from brainstorming to eventually landing in Canada. You'll be taught with real life case studies of people like you already living in their Canadian dream, just like I've shown you now. And in the past, people have said, oh, you cannot get a job offer from Nigeria or from wherever. That may not totally be true, because I'm going to show you how you can position yourself before these employers and how you can package yourself in such a way that they will take a look at what you have. And I will show you how you can also get provincial nomination through the ORMP, just like I said, even if you don't have a family member or a friend, which has been a major challenge for very many people who don't understand how to take advantage of this provincial nominee program, and they cannot even go inside the special pool because age is not on their side. Why not give the ORMP a chance so that you can leverage on it? And I spoke extensively. I wrote extensively on it. Beyond what you have seen in this webinar, this blueprint is detailed. It contains so many things that you need to know. And it also comes with a lot of bonuses. And quickly, let me walk you through how these bonuses are packaged and what you expect to see in those bonuses. Just join me as I show you what is in those bonuses right now. So as you can see here, this is the bonus package for the blueprint. If you have it, if you eventually get it, you're gonna get all these things. And there's a video here that's gonna walk you through the whole thing, how to use the bonus. Okay, and when you come down here, even if you are from the UK, for this particular bonus, I specifically explain to people in the UK how they can transition from the UK to Canada. And somebody may want to ask me, oh, if somebody is already in the UK, why should the person come to Canada? There are so many reasons why people are leaving the UK for Canada, because when you put them side by side, Canada is no match for the UK, is no match for Canada in terms of the opportunities that Canada presents, just like I've said. And you can see so many things, the pathway to Canadian work permit, how you can get a work permit, how you can raise money for your Canadian relocation. And all these bonuses, when you click on them, it's going to take you to individual training where you're going to learn so many things, watch the training and how. And this particular bonuses are put together in such a way that you can interact with it. You can use them to set your goals. You can use them to do several things. Okay, and that is very, very important. The special courses you can study in Canada without high ETS, everything is there. How to become a Canadian citizen, choosing where to settle in Canada, eligibility for PR as a skilled worker, Canadian immigration application portal walkthrough. Because it's one thing for you to just read a book and forget it. But what if I show you, I walk you through a process where you can be guided on how to do some of these things? You will see me clicking on those things. You will see me open a particular tab. You will see me do different things, and you can just replicate whatever you see me do. These are powerful, and this is still beyond. These are just bonuses. The main blueprint is still there. And as part of what I'm going to give you today for attending this webinar, I'm going to give you the first 23 pages of the blueprint for free, just for you to have an insight into what lies, what is inside that blueprint. The first 23 pages of that blueprint, I'm going to give you for free. Okay. And then if you decide to make up your mind to be part of this great thing happening, then you can take advantage of the blueprint, as you can see on the right side of this particular webinar, on how you can place your order for the blueprint. If you want to achieve financial success in Canada, I already put a training together there where you can find out how to connect the dot for financial success in Canada, so that you just don't come to Canada and regret coming to Canada. I'm going to share with you how to start a business in Canada, making a choice for success in Canada, and so many other things that you need to take advantage of. What about these 10 powerful short video trainings? These are very, very powerful. These are short video trainings that can walk you through many things. You can see the brainstorming process, what is inadmissibility, temporary resident relocation, the factors you need to consider, PR relocation route to Canada, language proficiency exam, how to create an IRCC online account, what is your NOC code. You see, walkthrough of the express entry account creation process, walkthrough of the job bank. The job bank I mentioned earlier, I have a short video that's going to walk you through how to create an account and how to build your resume on the job bank. This is a no-brainer. Okay, the first blueprint that I created did not have all these things, and yet people still got value for it. What about what you can do if you're above 40 years old? There are so many above 40 years old on my mailing list who don't know exactly what to do. I've got you guys covered. If you're above 40 years old, you can learn what to do here, and you can watch some of these trainings that I've put together. Very, very interesting system that I have here to guide you and to make sure you understand everything. And what about these powerful IS preparatory trainings and materials? These are the things you are going to get as part of the bonuses for ordering this blueprint today. And because you are attending this webinar right now, I'm giving you the first 23 pages of the blueprint for free, just for you to have a taste of what is inside that particular blueprint 3.0. So let's continue with what you have seen. I'm so sure you understand what is involved and what I have put together in that updated version of the blueprint for you, including the opportunity for you to have access to me. Look at this. Even after people arrive Canada, I am still there to show them how to be financially successful in Canada. And I want you to listen to what these folks have to say. These guys are in Canada. They are based here in Canada. They know what I can do. They have experienced my expertise when it comes to giving people financial advice and helping people to settle down and to plan their finances directly in Canada, just to make sure that they succeed. Listen to these guys and you understand what I represent when it comes to this particular aspect of Canadian immigration. Helping new immigrants to understand Canada, to integrate into Canada, and to succeed in Canada. Just listen to these guys.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? Congratulations to all you guys that are already landed here in Canada. And for those that are coming, congratulations to you too. As you've come to this country is going to favor you. One thing to notice as you're coming to this country, Canada is blessed, but you need lots of information, especially when it comes to your financial stability. And so that's why I am highly recommending Victor Jagede. I've known him, I've worked with him, I've seen what he can do to help you get stabilized and help you make informed decisions with your finances. Listen to him, let him guide you. I'm a living testimony to how it works firsthand. So once again, welcome to Canada, and may this land favor you guys. Congratulations. Cheers.
And that's correct there. Very, very fantastic guy who is doing a lot of wonderful things in Saskatchewan, Canada. Saskatchewan is a major city in Saskatchewan province of Canada. Now, I have another guy who is also based here in Canada. He lives in Alberta, and he's also going to tell you a few things about what I represent and what I have done for people to help them settle down here, especially helping them to navigate the financial pathway here in Canada. Listen to him.
Hey everyone, my name is Matthew Omoshebi, and I live here in Grand Prairie, Alberta, and I'm recommending Mr. Victor Jegede for anyone coming to Canada or just landing in Canada here. If you want to know more about financial services, because Canada has a lot to offer, provided you have the right information at the right time. It will actually go a very long way to making this country enjoyable for you and your loved ones. And I have no doubt within me, having worked and lived together with Mr. Victor Jegede in Swan River, Manitoba, I have first-hand information and experience, very close experience with him, and I know what he can do. I know him very much. I know his expertise when it comes to financial issues, financial matters. Is a boss, is a dedicated fellow, understanding, very focused and very straightforward, very highly disciplined, and with a very listening ear. He shows so much empathy with people. So I recommend him without missing word, with no reservation whatsoever, for everyone coming to Canada or just landing in Canada. And I wish you the very best of this country. Stay blessed.
Yeah, that's Matthew there, sharing his own experience with you guys about who I am and how I can be of help to you, especially leveraging if you are willing and able to leverage on the opportunity I'm giving you today. So let's talk about you. Okay, you have heard people talk about me. You have read testimonials. You have seen the case studies. You have seen proofs of what I have done for people. You have seen the impact that the last edition of the Blueprint has had on so many people like you. And let's talk about your freedom, your happiness. What do you really want? How much is your own freedom and happiness worth to you? Let me quickly take you down the lane and share these things with you. These are unfortunate incidents in Nigeria, for example. If you're not in Nigeria, you are listening to this, all these things are in the news. This was the picture taken from the Kaduna train attack, where about 168 passengers are still missing till today, in a country where people are not safe, where things happen every day. For how long do you want to continue to live in fear? For how long do you want your family to continue to live in this kind of environment, especially if you have what it takes to move your family out to a better place? That is food for thought. What about the recent Owo massacre? This happened just recently, and I know you know what I'm talking about. Everybody is talking about it. As a matter of fact, Canadian news carried it, that people were worshiping in church and armed men entered the church and killed a lot of people. For how long will that situation continue? You may not be able to change the situation, but you can change what you want. You can't change your reality. You can't do what you need to do to safeguard your own life and to safeguard your own family. And that's why I believe so much in what Jim Rohn said here, that for things to change, you need to change. And for things to get better, you are the one that we have to change. You are the one that you have to get better. So what is your freedom worth to you? And I'm asking that again because that is something I want you to think about. So like with what you have seen about this blueprint, to give you an idea of the things that you are going to get again as bonus beyond some of the things I've shown you. You are going to also have access to the list of LMIA employers. I told you that employers in Canada who want to recruit people from outside Canada needs to have been approved by government to do so. What if you have a database that's going to give you access to this? This alone, in my opinion, is worth nothing less than 15,000. What about this bonus? Template of resumes and cover letters. Template of resumes and cover letters that you can use to package your resume and cover letters in line with the Canadian standard. That alone, let us even assume that is worth just 5,000 naira, but I know it's worth more than that. Okay. What about knowing how to raise the money you need for your move to overcome the challenges of financial resources that you need? As I have said, Canadian immigration is not cheap, and you need to know how to raise money. How did I raise money? I was a civil servant some times ago. Okay, as far back as 2010, I was in debt in Nigeria and I wanted to travel. And I knew there's no way that's going to happen if I don't do something about my situation. Then I started a small business with a borrowed money. God help me. That business blossomed. That business became big. And I was able to achieve my dream of moving to Canada through the income and the revenue I generated in that business without having to borrow money from anybody. And that is what I wish for you. Okay, now let's look at another one. You need walkthrough videos that can guide you, that can take you by the hand. Things, videos you can watch, trainings you can watch that can tell you this is how to do this, this is how to do that, this is how to fill this form, this is how to open this account. These are valuable things that you will get as bonuses when you order this Blueprint 3.0 today. What about bonus 5? Above 40, what to do? I showed you that. And I know so many people who are above 40 are thinking that they don't have any chance anymore of moving to this country. That may not totally be true if you get the right information that can tell you, that can show you exactly what you need to do. What about how to succeed in Canada? You have listened to so many people and they have told you what I am capable of doing, especially when it comes to helping people navigate the financial pathway in Canada. There are people who are bankrupt in Canada. There are people from Nigeria who are bankrupt in Canada. You don't have to leave your country to come to another country and then be bankrupt. Nobody wants that. But if we don't have the information, then we might not be able to change that narrative. And that is why I think it is expedient that anybody coming to Canada needs to understand how the financial system works in Canada, because it is totally different from where we are coming from. Let us even say this is valuable, and let us say this is just 25,000 naira. Okay. And what about an opportunity to talk to me on Zoom? Free 30 minutes Zoom consultation. You have seen the people I have shared with you. Most of these people talk to me by WhatsApp or by email. Okay. None of them have access to me by Zoom, but I'm giving you this opportunity to have a 30 minutes consultation with me for free via Zoom. Okay. And you can determine how you want to split this 30 minutes, whether you want to use it at once or you want to use it when there's a very, very important reason for you to use it. How much do you think that is valued? Okay. That is a great opportunity for you to speak to me directly and to hear what I have to say and to listen to advice from me. I'm offering you that if you take action today, okay? And much more. There's so much that you stand to benefit if you take action right now. And if you have to pay for what this is all worth, if you have to add the value of those bonuses together, then we should be looking at nothing less than about 195,000 naira, which is just equivalent to about 420 Canadian dollars. That may not be a lot of money to me, but that's a lot of money to so many people, okay? But today, nobody is asking you to do that. As a matter of fact, immigration consultants in Canada actually charge a minimum of $150 to talk to clients per hour. You can understand that. And very many of them charge a minimum of $1,600, which is about $1,600 to fill some forms like the writ of mandamus for people. I have proof of them here. That's a proof of somebody who paid $1,600 just because the immigration lawyer have to file some document, and that is just the first stage of what that person has to pay. That person actually is still going to pay additional money to make a total of $5,000. Okay, but what if you can understand what to do to avoid some things, and then you don't need to go through some of these harrowing experience of paying so much for what if possible, if you know what to do, that you can avoid going through those routes. Okay. But today I'm not charging you 1,600. And that you have to pay me 195,000 naira today. No, I'm not charging you that. But for you to really understand again who I am and to let you understand what I can offer you, especially in the blueprint that I've put together for you, let me quickly show you a few things. Maybe it will also give you an indication of what you want your own future to be like. If anybody tell me that in the next 5 years, as far back as 2010, if I remember where I was in 2010, it was not a very, very interesting experience that I had. I was in debt, things were not working out, but this is 2022, just 12 years down the line. This is me today. Okay. And this, some people might call it a miracle, but I will say that a miracle plus hard work, working with information, working with things that work. And that is what you can see there. Today, I'm a Canadian. At the same time, I'm still Nigerian. And you can see, I'm not just showing the passport that doesn't belong to me. You can see the inside of that passport. Look at the face in that passport and look at my face. You will know that is me. And you will also see there, I'm holding the Canadian Immigration Law Book that contains every major cases, every major law that the immigration officer and the visa officers look at before they make a decision on your application. I have access to that material because I went to school here when it comes to immigration, and I know how some of these guys think. I know how they make their decisions, and I know what they do. And that's why I'm telling you that there's no other kind of person that is suitable to look into your application, that is suitable to guide you or to put an information material together for you to follow than myself in this particular direction. So what are you waiting for? How much is your freedom worth to you? If you are so passionate about changing the narrative of your life, if you are so passionate about the future of your children, if you are so passionate about becoming a game changer or a change agent in your environment, then you need the right environment. You need an environment where a lot of things can work for you. Okay? There's no point staying in an environment praying every day for things to change when the system where you live is not designed for things to change. But you as a person can determine the next direction of your life, of your future, of your children, and of the whole community that depends on you. Order the Blueprint 3.0 today for just 35,000 naira. Look at the link on the right hand side of that webinar. You're going to see every instruction you need to make the order. Once you click on that link, okay, that link is going to take you to the ordering page where you can order this blueprint, and your journey to Canada can start immediately. Don't delay on this. Don't hesitate to do what you need to do. Invest in yourself, invest in your future, and you will be so happy you did. I'm so happy that you guys have taken your time to wait this long to the end of this presentation, and I'm so sure the action you're going to take today will make a lot of meaning to you and to your unborn children in years to come. Make that decision right now. Place that order, click on that link, and you will be taken to the order page where you can fill in your card information, and then you can make your payment. You don't need to go to any bank. With your ATM card, you can place that order right now, and we have access to all the bonuses that I've promised you. But for attending this event today, you will also see a link there to an handout. Just click on the handout, and you can also download the first 23 pages of the blueprint today for free, just because you are attending or you have attended this webinar. And if you decide to now buy order the blueprint, which I believe you will do, then you will get the remaining copy, the remaining pages, because that blueprint is actually 97 pages. And when I say 97 pages, it is not an academic book. It is so illustrative with images, with pictures that will make your learning experience very, very interesting. And then you can have access to the bonuses, where you can get access to the walkthrough bonuses, the videos, the IELTS materials, and so many other things that you need to make sure that your journey to Canada become a successful one. Take that decision today, and you will not regret it. Once again, my name is Olukayode Victor Jegede. I'm so happy that you guys have waited this long to be part of this. If you have questions right now, this is the time to send in your questions. Go to that webinar page, put in your email address, put in your questions, and let the questions start rolling in, and I will take my time to start responding to those questions, and you will get the feedback via email. And I can assure you, I will stay in touch with you, especially for those of you that order these blueprints. You will continue to get updates from me as at when due, and you will not be left alone to handle this alone. I wish you all the best. Take care of yourself and do the right thing right now. God bless you.